Welcome to the Shrouded Realities podcast. I'm Joey. We've got Connor. We got Steven. We've got Ruby, the podcast dog, chilling on the floor as always, making fart noises
She's got this nice fluffy bed, and she's just like, no.
on the hardwood floor.
We're getting this hardwood floor.
She's an old stray. She's lived that hard life.
Yeah.
She's a tough dog.
She's a
Can't
rainbow.
take anything nice.
The rainbow of dogs over
She's
here.
the Rambo of dogs. That's right. Anyway, more not so much about the dog. Subject today, we got a fun one. We're going to talk about COVID-19.
It's the big boy.
The big boy.
That's right.
Yep. You say, what's this got to do with Shrouded Realities? If you're
Just
asking that
everything.
question, yeah, you should know. There's a lot of shrouded information, and
If it didn't change your life forever, then it's like, what are you
yeah,
doing?
everybody's got a COVID story.
You must be a billionaire
Yeah.
because your life changed.
Yeah, I stepped up my gardening game because of COVID.
Yep.
That was the thread for
that
me.
was- yeah.
That was the thread that got pulled that unraveled a lot of things for
for
me.
conspiracies,
Yep.
for mistrust of the government.
100%. I was not that guy. I mean, I was always like, yeah, don't trust the government. And then COVID, and I went, no, for real.
No,
though.
really.
Yeah, actually.
I'm honestly surprised no one really talks about it anymore.
That's why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
100%.
Well,
I
that
mean,
and
well,
it's an
I-
election year, and now it's
True.
back, and
Yeah, we
all
got
of
this
that.
new-
I mean,
COVID.
the only other thing,
I mean, it was but not intentionally.
yeah,
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of is like it was a bad time for everybody. So like
It
people
was.
wanting to move on from it. It's an understandable thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that came out of it, it's like we have to talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't forget already. And I
No.
feel like they're trying to make us forget already.
Yeah. I
Like-
mean,
Like there's a lot of little knickknacks and paddywhacks that were just crazy wonkers, and they're like, it never happened.
Yeah, no
It's
big
okay.
deal.
Things are back to normal.
Yeah.
But
trillion,
no,
trillions of dollars just kind of shifted.
just disappeared. Money got laundered.
Yep.
People got rich.
Almost vaccine
People
passports.
got power.
Yeah.
People got power that, guess what? Guess who didn't elect them?
Mhm.
Us.
Off the backs of everybody that got sick.
Yep.
And
Some of them's been doing it for a very long time.
Yeah.
Just sneaking their way in, getting
Mhm.
a little more power, and at one point they ran our country.
I heard a fun little story that kind of pissed me off doing a little research on this one. Pardon my language,
doesn't
but
sound fun.
yeah,
Dadgum.
Bill Gates, he invested in, it was in something that was pharmaceutical.
It was the mRNA vaccines.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He-
like threw a bunch of money in it.
Yeah. And he
Mhm.
made 15 times the return.
It was probably just it was a coincidence that he just happened to throw some money into it. I'm
Quinky
sure.
dink.
Do you know how
Yeah.
much 15 times your return is on a stock investment?
For Bill Gates, a lot.
Jeez, oh, crimey. And we're over here like 7%.
Yeah.
I can
He's over
retire
there.
at 70.
Yeah. And he's over here looking at him. He's like, that's peanuts. I mean, he made
The dude is shaped like a peanut. Have you seen the guy?
Yeah.
This is rough.
Yeah, he's a strange looking guy.
We can do a whole episode on that guy.
Yeah, he's not even real.
Yeah, like all
But-
the land he bought up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
and-
The farmland. He become the world's biggest farmer all of a sudden.
And doesn't make food. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But he wants you to eat crickets. But
Yeah.
we're getting off
Yeah.
subject here.
This entangles into so many different things.
It does. But yeah, he was like one of the big proponents to get the jab and
Yeah.
screaming, don't worry about nothing. Just
I'm
do
gonna give
it.
him a jab. That's what I want to do.
Right in the mouth.
But yeah, this was March of, or what was it, 2019?
2020.
2020
Well, it was-
was where it was really hitting us.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the end of 2019 when the first reported cases were
Yeah.
coming out of China.
Yeah.
Wuhan.
But
China.
you dig a little deeper, maybe October, maybe the summer, maybe
Right.
somewhere in that, there was some stuff moving around going on.
And
there.
what's funny is like how everybody was so confused of how it was created, and then there's like a place in Wuhan called the Lab of Wuhan.
Yeah.
the COVID, what was it?
The coronavirus
The-
lab of
yeah, the-
Wuhan, China.
the Wuhan coronavirus lab. Where did it come from? It was in Wuhan.
It was coming from a bat
Well, it comes
2
from a
streets
horse,
down.
which actually
Get outta
was
here.
only found 600 miles away from Wuhan,
Yeah.
and wasn't even part of the wet market that it supposedly came from.
You talking about the Virology Institute that Fauci had interest in?
Well, yeah, he didn't really have interest in it. If you hear
He
him,
took winter vacations to it. It's
Yeah.
no big deal.
Yeah, the
Interesting.
NIH only funded it kind of.
Just a lump sum of $1 billion. You know? I don't know how much it was, but it was enough.
Interesting.
We're just sprinkling in a little sauce, guys. That's
Yeah,
it.
we're just filling it in.
Yep.
The sauce to the meatballs.
Got to throw the disclaimer on this one. I don't think we did on the last one because it was kind of just a think piece. This one, we've got to throw in some
Yeah.
disclaimer. We're idiots.
Big time.
3 big old idiots.
Look
just-
it up. I'm going to try to put some sources in some of this and all of that. But, I mean, look this up for yourself.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard. It seems there's a lot of scrubbing out there.
I think a
what she said.
lot of people are going to get mad in this one
Disappointed.
because there was a lot of people fully sold out to these ideas and what you had to do.
Yeah.
And people are going to get upset about
Yeah,
this.
this was another. This is. I don't know if it was moon landing esque as far as having opposing opinions and
We're in a-
being
we're
angry
This
in
one
an
about
was
echo
it.
this one was
chamber.
a bit more tangible of like suffering.
Yeah, yeah,
People lost people.
yeah,
Well-
People lost jobs.
yeah. And I want to throw that as part of our disclaimer. We're not saying it didn't happen.
No.
People died from it for sure.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's just things that make you go about the whole situation.
Where it came from, the forcing of getting a jab. There was a
the
bunch
counting
of stuff.
of numbers of people
That were
Yeah,
infected.
I got
and-
stories on that.
Yeah. So I mean, there's plenty of shroud in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just lifting up the shrouds and
Just
Talk
look,
about
just
them.
looking at it,
So
just
look-
lifting it up and looking underneath it.
Yeah.
That's
all
illegal in
we're-
some states, by the way.
That's right.
looking under shrouds.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You got to look out for that.
Can't peek under anything you want, but
That's right.
Unreal.
Maybe shrouds you can though.
yeah.
So what were you guys thinking in 2020 when we had like the first case in the U.S. and they're like, we're gonna shut down for 2 weeks? What'd you guys think?
I wasted $150 because of that stupid thing. I was thinking, all right, so it started getting real about February, and I think we had our first case in America in February, but nothing's shutting down yet. It's just kind of we'll get a control of
This
it.
is pre 15 days to flatten the curve.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it was just kind of the beginning of it, and
It's like this is just a little bit worse than the flu. It's
It was
okay. We just
yeah.
need everybody to stay home.
Don't go buy a mask. Don't
Yeah.
do that.
yeah, it was in the world news, but not really American news. They were
Yeah.
just kind of talking about it, and then people quit flying finally.
Mhm.
You know, everybody started getting a little scared. They quit
Mhm.
flying, so plane ticket prices went rock bottom. And my wife wanted to go to Boston
Uh-huh.
to visit a buddy and go to a Boston Red Sox game. So
Yeah.
I'm like, boom, tickets are $100 for you to go to Boston. Yup.
Get on it. Yeah.
I bought the ticket the night before everything shut down.
The whole world collapsed.
The
at that
world
point.
collapsed the night.
Like,
After
we're
I
not gonna
bought the
believe
ticket.
this.
Yeah.
You bought the insurance?
No, we didn't get our money back. I'm pretty sure Delta is like wiping their butt with that money right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they were struggling, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, they struggled after for a while.
they did. A lot of places did.
I watched
Yeah.
a documentary on the financial impact, and they had a bunch of CEOs talking about how their businesses was affected.
Mhm.
The gaming industry, flying industry, hotel industry. Dude, they were talking like, we're going to shut down. You can't survive 18 months without any income whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was it was rough for them,
Mhm.
for the non-essentials, once everything got shut down.
Non-essentials. We found out how that worked out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got an anecdotal.
Anecdotal. There it is.
Thank you. Got one of those stories to tell. So
Mhm.
we experienced that firsthand.
What'd you think, Stephen?
I think we had some false alarms pre this. I mean, what was it? Ebola during Obama.
Yeah.
You had that. and
Swine
that was
flu.
had swine flu, H1N1, and there were, some things that were scary about those. But we had a bunch of that being talked about, and
Yeah.
all of this was going to come over here, and I was like, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
sure. And then 2 weeks to flatten the curve happened, and I was like, okay, that's kind of weird that we're going to shut the whole economy down over this.
Yeah.
And then after the 15 days, it was like, wait, we're not coming back? What are you talking about?
Right.
That's where it really got serious to me, was after the 2 weeks. I
Mhm.
think the initial 2 weeks was like, hey, don't have to go to work for 2 weeks. Sweet.
Take some
Get
time
paid
off.
for it.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
sick.
But then after that, it really kind of set in of like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
this is bad. And we were watching videos coming out of China
Mm-hmm.
of people having seizures, and they were welding people's doors shut and
Yeah,
not allowing
beating
people
them.
to come out and beating them. And I mean, at that point, you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
what is this?
And
I
it
mean,
was bad. They were doing mass graves and all
Yeah.
kinds of crazy
Well,
stuff. Like,
I
It
mean,
might have been.
you got something on that?
I have suspicion. That's
Yeah.
it. I have no facts.
But also, like, I'm sure the health of China's population isn't that great. I mean, America's isn't either,
Yeah.
but theirs probably isn't any better. So, I mean, if they
Yeah.
get sick, they're probably on the downward
that's-
spiral anyway.
I
Yeah.
feel like they took it and run with it a little bit, maybe in China. They're like,
This is
okay,
this is a nice little stepping stone to
we could.
Mhm.
crack
If
down.
what if we shut down their entire economy? What would that look like? And this is what's happening over here. Look, it's
Mhm.
people are dying okay.
Yeah, it was weird how different all the countries reacted to it.
Yeah.
From
A lot of countries followed our lead.
yeah.
Um,
From what I heard, Mexico didn't. They stayed open and they rocked on and
Yeah.
didn't have a whole lot of
Sweden,
death
same way.
rate. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sweden.
Sweden, from what I saw, they stayed open the entire time. They actually banned people from using masks. They said, do not do it.
Really?
Their whole thing was hitting herd immunity. They
Yeah.
said, look, people are going to die and that's bad,
Yeah.
but we've got to hit that herd immunity.
Yeah.
And they were the race to that herd immunity. And once they hit it, when we were hitting our second wave, their numbers were coming down.
Wow.
Do you think
And-
the cartel was double masking up?
Oh, I'm sure they were. You know they were.
They mask up anyway.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
The 6 foot distance with a machete.
They had bandanas over their face. Hey, you stay 6 feet away from me.
Maybe that's why the whole country did so good. They were already masking up before,
Right,
just
they're
rocking bandanas.
rocking
Already in their
bandanas.
armored vehicles.
That's going to be the one thing that gets us in trouble for the whole show. Is
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
said that the cartel is going to be wearing bandanas, and here we are.
Yeah.
I'm scared of the cartel.
Honestly.
Yeah, for real.
That's scarier than COVID.
They've got some influence.
It's a lot scarier than COVID,
Yeah.
especially for people our age group.
Yeah. COVID's not going to pull my eyeballs out of my head.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, I do remember when it did hit. So we were essential workers. You know,
Yep.
we all worked together. We were essential workers. The ones that kept working every day, nothing much happened. Like
No,
a couple people got sick, but not many.
we had some of the panic going on. We had
There was
people that
panic.
we
Yeah.
had some people that were
losing
panicked over
control.
it.
Hoping they were.
I got the sniffles. I got the Rona. I want to die. And then they run home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there was a lot of that. There was some people that we worked with that were trying to force some of the mandates
Mhm.
and some of that. I was prepared that they were saying, "Hey, you got to go get the shot."
yeah.
I was ready
Yeah.
to lose my job
Yeah,
over it.
there was a lot
Yeah.
of people in close talks that were like, "That happens. We're doing something else."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, that's
I mean,
it.
That's
Like-
where I was.
The wild thing about that though, with us working the whole time through it, the people that did stay home from it because they had
Mhm.
office jobs, they're the ones that got sick the most.
They
Yeah.
were.
So it was almost like the herd
And they just
immunity
kept
thing was-
kept getting sick too.
Yeah.
And it was worse. Like it was they kept happening, and it was just worse after each one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we seen right then that like I'm
Yeah.
better off going to work.
It's anecdotal. I mean, we're definitely living in. Probably the people that we work with are in a little better health because they're outside, they're working with their hands, they're
Yeah.
doing
Mhm.
a lot of that. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we
the
saw
lot-
we saw a lot of people go from okay to not.
Yeah.
So
That's what I think the lockdowns was probably the worst thing we could have done.
oh, 100. Yeah,
I mean,
no doubt.
the masks had negative impacts. You mentioned that last week about the
Mm-hmm.
children, how they developed and the respiratory issues that people had because
Yeah.
they had to wear a mask constantly. And
Mhm.
but I think the lockdown was probably the worst.
The mental health impact on that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like 90% of all health. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're not mentally healthy, your body's gonna just shut
Yeah.
down and
And-
it's gonna suck.
And one thing that nobody ever talked about was the children through that situation. Not going to school. Stay home, but not everybody had good lives. Not everybody had good parents to go home to. So, I mean, if your parents are giving you trouble,
Yeah,
hey, go
Well,
live with them
and
24/7.
nobody talked about how minor the risk to a child was,
especially
for
to children. Yeah,
for any at all.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
want to say for like 15 to 30 was almost 1%
Mhm.
of having any issues at all.
yeah,
I mean, almost zero. Now, if you're 84 and you got COVID,
Yeah.
you're in bad shape.
You got COPD.
Yeah,
You've been
you got-
smoking for 50
you know,
years.
Yeah.
you're a solid 100 pounds overweight, got COPD, and you're
Mhm.
84 years old. Guess what? COVID is not a good thing for
no,
you.
And
but
for them, that was the scary part. You know, there were so many people dropping from it.
how we handled and how we took care of people in the hospitals was also a big problem.
Stick them on the vent. Stick
Yeah.
them on the
Stick 'em
vent.
And
Get on the vent.
I
they
really
come
don't
off.
blame. I don't blame the medical system or the doctors on that one.
They just didn't know what
They
there was
just
too
didn't
many
have a
people.
clue.
You don't?
I don't think they did. I don't think they had a clue. It took some. I remember it took a while before. I'm gonna say the dirty word, ivermectin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know,
The
real
horse paste?
Yeah.
The horse paste. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Where
But
people were
the-
going to Tractor Supply and buying horse paste and eating it.
Hey, I was
Yeah.
on the fence too.
I thought about it myself. I'm not going to lie.
Thought about having some just in case. Cause I never got COVID at all that I know of. Thank goodness. But
No,
yeah,
you were asymptomatic, Joey. You had it.
You
were a
just didn't
super
know it.
spreader.
super spreader.
What
I forgot
virus?
about that. Super spreaders.
Yep, you were.
Dude, there was just so much.
What
Paranoia
virus are you worried about today?
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in this room right now and I'm sick but I'm asymptomatic, are you worried about catching that?
No.
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 When have we ever been worried about that?
Mm-mm.
Ever.
Mm.
But now some Chinese virus comes out and we're like, oh yeah, no, that's bad.
So do you want to? You shared it a couple weeks ago. Do you want to share the email that with the new COVID virus that was?
Oh yeah. So my mom, she works in an industry. I'll just leave it at that. But she got a email that said that COVID is going back around. Everybody needs to watch out. You know, start wearing your mask again. Double mask would be preferred. Which to me is the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, so you probably won't have symptoms, but if you do, these are the list of symptoms. Your back might hurt. You will get pneumonia without a cough, which sounds like not pneumonia.
Sounds like
But
breathing normally.
yeah, your back might hurt, your arms might hurt, your legs might hurt. You probably won't run a fever, but you're going to get people sick and they're going to die. It's way more dangerous than the other COVIDs. It's the worst
They
COVID
said it was
ever.
more dangerous.
Oh yeah, it said it's way more dangerous. So you just really need to be sure you're slapping 2 masks on your face, maybe 3. Because to me, if 2 is good, 3 is better. And if 3,
6
yeah,
6 masks.
what are we doing? I mean,
Come on.
if 2's good,
Save grandma.
And then you find out it can get in through your eyeballs.
yeah. Well,
And it's like,
that's why you need to be wearing one of those clear face masks over that.
That's right.
So we need to think about that
the
too.
virus is gonna come and be like, dang it.
Dadgummit.
There's a wall here.
Do y'all remember
Build the wall.
in the full force of it? Did y'all ever go to a drive-through during any of that?
Probably.
Drive through theater.
No, a drive-through like
Fast food?
McDonald's.
Oh, you're talking about the collection plate of food and money.
Yeah, where they're passing
What
out
in
their
the
collection
world were
plate
they thinking? Who come up with that idea?
with a guy wearing 2 pairs of
Wait,
gloves.
say that again. Wait, what is
You
it?
didn't see that?
No, no.
Yes, you go through
yeah.
a drive-through and the worker wouldn't take your money, hand you your food. They would pretty much a collection plate, a box
Like
of some
imagine
sort.
imagine going to church and they're passing the collection plate at church.
They
except they hand you this and they're like, drop your money in this. Then they touch that money.
Then they take it. It
Right
moves-
there in front of
It
you.
moves 6 inches before they pull the money out.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they touch it with their hands that your hands just touched.
And everybody else's money
Yeah.
germs that they've been
Yep.
touching.
And then they put it in their drawer and then they grab your food, which
same
just
gloves.
touched your
With that
dirty
hand.
with your dirty hands.
They do one of these with your cup. You know,
Yeah.
just a finger on top of it.
They might as well grab your straw, lick it, and then stick it in your drink. I mean, it's
And then put it back in the box and then hand you your food.
hey, I was in.
What
I
who
was
is they?
receiving inventory when I was at work.
Yeah.
We, no joke, had a disinfectant spray
Mm-hmm.
that we sprayed on cardboard boxes when they came in from UPS.
Okay. That was when we first didn't know. And
We didn't know.
Yeah.
Looking back, I feel like the biggest idiot ever.
I'd have went ahead and just licked a bunch of boxes just to get it over with. Just to say, hey, this
About,
ain't.
Yeah.
about 3 months into that, I was like hoping I got COVID just so I could be immune to it and move on
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I saw that it was not a big deal at all.
Yeah.
But I was like, can I just get
For
it?
guys like you at your age.
Yeah, for guys like me at my age, my wife had it. She felt like death. She felt horrible. I was kissing her at night. I was going to bed, sleeping in the same
Trying to
bed
get
as.
it.
I was like, can I just get it? I've
Yeah.
got to be quarantined anyway. Just let me have it. I couldn't get it. I ended up catching it, the Omicron or whatever that was.
Omicron.
That's right.
Sounds like a Transformer
Yeah, I
character.
caught the Transformer version of mine. But yeah, and it wasn't bad at all. I was fine.
Yeah.
I just had to stay home.
I think it wasn't the first variant, but I think it was the second one. And we were supposed to stay home, but I said, nah, I'm good. So I did
You were a super
I did
spreader.
a super spreader. And I was like,
Dadgummit.
I'm going to help the people.
Yeah.
I'm here for the people. So
Yeah.
I'm spreading it.
Nice. Did you ever get the jab?
No.
Did you get the jab?
Nope.
I got the jab.
I fought it.
Oh.
Yeah, I fought it pretty
Jabby
hard.
Joey.
Jabby Joey. I was I had a good reason though. But
Yeah.
father-in-law was fighting cancer at the time,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and he's in that demographic that if he got it, it'd have got him.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it today?
I wish I wouldn't have done it.
Do you?
100%.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and what made me change my mind? I fought it pretty hard the whole time. I was like, guys, this is silly. You can't do it. So I worked in Afghanistan about 10, 15 years ago, and they stabbed me with 7 of who knows what before I
Yeah.
left. Yeah. And I was like, man, if I could take that and be fine, this jab, it'd be okay.
Come to find out, those have been used for 50 years and
Yeah,
researched for 20
researched
years
forever.
before that.
Yeah. And actually had real
Had data, hard data.
hard data against it. Yeah. But, man, I got sick as a dog. This isn't the reason why I wouldn't do it again, but I got sick as a dog on the second. It was the 2-rounder. First one, nothing much. I kind of felt a little but nothing crazy. And then the second one, a week later, I went and got it. I thought I was going to die that night.
Yeah.
Like, I woke up. My wife's in the medical industry. I woke her up and I said, baby, I think I'm dying. Like, we might have to go to the hospital. She's like, what's wrong? I was shaking, like, uncontrollably. Just,
That's terrifying.
it was like a cold shake, but I wasn't cold. I was sweating.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to go pee, and I was all over the wall. Like, it was crazy. And she's just like, you just got to get through it.
Picasso.
Yeah.
It took me a minute. I don't know why that hit me a little late, but it did.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It was all over the place.
Do you remember which one you ended up with?
No, I want to say the Pfizer. I
Pfizer?
think Johnson was the one jab.
Yeah, Johnson was
That
the
one
one
got
jab.
pulled, I think, didn't it? For
Yeah, that
the
one got pulled
clots.
because it was like blood clotting women or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did hear a story on that one, friend.
But it was still safe. You were good. It was only like 10% of women that ended up with a problem, and on
just a roll of a dice.
on a virus that was only 1% of a problem for
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
So
I think we're still figuring out the long-term effects of just COVID by itself.
Yeah.
We don't even know
Yeah.
about everything else, you know?
I did think I had long-term effects from the jab.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I can't prove it, but my health wasn't.
it's
Something
anecdotal.
was different.
and
Yeah, something's up.
all we can give is our anecdotal experiences. But I know, I'm going to say 3 people right now. I know 3 people that have had the shot and are now in some kind of long-term care under a doctor and having to go get checkups and having surgeries and having actual problems.
Jeez.
And these
Having
were
to go to
relatively healthy people before
Very
this.
healthy people, not
Mhm.
any kind of, not overweight, not any of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And these people are, one of them is having to have a heart surgery coming up very soon,
Mhm.
directly correlated. And the doctor said, the first question,
Yeah.
did you have the COVID shot?
Yeah.
And went, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've had to open up separate wings for this.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
went-
going to get worse, I think.
Last time I went
Yeah,
for my
well.
physical, the nurse asked if I got the jab, and it was one of those questions like, I hope you didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I did. So
Yeah, when I was going in
Did-
for my...
and-
That's
and-
terrifying.
And is there
yeah.
is there
Absolutely terrifying. It's
Like,
man,
like
I
2
hope
years
you-
ago, like, they were like,
Yeah.
come on, get the
Yeah.
shot. Come in here, get the shot.
trust me,
Damn it,
trust the
told my-
science.
They told my wife, they were like, we'll give you $1,000 if you do it. Like her work said that.
Son.
I was like,
I'd
I'm
do it
not.
for
That's,
1,000.
that's better than New York
No.
saying they'll get
I'd do it for
free
$1,000.
a free hot dog in
Yeah,
New York.
New York would give you a slice of pizza
Yeah.
or something. We'll give you a donut if
Come
you come to
on, there's a
Dunkin'.
rat hanging off of it.
Get
Come
off.
on, get your free pizza.
People were just stealing I got vaccinated
Yeah.
stickers
So-
to get their pizza.
So knowing, it's just us thinking, knowing what we know about the countries that didn't shut down, and stuff like that, is there real proof that the jab worked
No,
as far as shutting it down, stopping the virus, flattening the curve?
I would say absolutely not.
Because it still happens. Everybody still gets sick.
Everybody that had the shot, well, they were saying in the midst of it, once you get your shot, you still need to you still need to wear a mask. You can go out in public, but you need to wear a mask because somebody else who's not vaccinated is going to get you sick. And I'm like, well, doesn't that defeat the entire purpose of me getting it?
God.
If I go get a polio shot and then I'm around somebody with polio and I still get polio, what did I do? Nothing.
Useless.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Maybe
useless.
It's just worse now.
Yeah.
They were saying that in the midst of the whole thing.
God.
Well, and then they said, well, we need your booster. Get that booster shot.
And you're good.
Then you're good.
Yeah.
And then a month later, it was, well, actually, you know what? You can still get sick if you get that booster shot. But we got another booster coming out. You get that fourth booster, you're good then.
Do we know
problem.
anybody that's been boosted
I do.
a bunch of times?
Yeah.
Still get
I
sick?
discussed last week someone who called me very uneducated for having any questions at all about the COVID shot.
Yeah.
They've had COVID multiple times. And every time they said, go get a booster, you know where they were? They were sitting there butt down getting that booster shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so sick.
Later in the episode, we can kind of get into the mental aspect of the rain down of the government and all of that, how that
Yeah,
affected people.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to discuss, was this an experiment to begin with? A little bit.
A test
Just
or
a test. Just to
Yeah.
see if,
how
see
society would
how far we would go.
how the masses would react.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
We
like,
went way far, by the way.
so after that 2-week period, when they were getting like kind of iffy about things, for
Mhm.
anybody in your in your lives, like, could you see the divide in people? Like, I'm not following anything versus I'm gonna follow everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
My in-laws were pro jab and getting fear mongering.
Were they-
a little,
were they-
but
were
they were in that demographic that I would have been scared too. So I can't
I had
really
to be
blame
careful. I had to be careful who I talked to about it, for
Yeah.
sure, in my family, because I had certain family members who were would get very upset if you pushed against what the narrative was too much,
them. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because people were dying,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
a legitimate thing. It's not that people weren't dying.
Mm-mm.
Maybe the guy that hit a wall on his motorcycle shouldn't have been a COVID
Yeah.
death.
I want to talk about that
And,
real
and
quick.
the flu deaths went to 0.
Yeah,
They kinda
I mean,
lumped it in
We
altogether.
actually eradicated the flu during COVID. There was zero
None.
flu.
0.
None flew.
None.
And that's, when I say zero, I'm not joking. Like, nobody had it.
Yeah.
We eradicated the flu.
Yeah.
So there's a benefit of COVID. Nobody got
Nobody
the flu.
Yeah.
Thanks, COVID.
Mhm.
Wonder how that works.
Upgrade.
Thanks,
Upgrade.
COVID.
Yeah. But I'm a volunteer first responder, and you mentioned the people getting in car wrecks and having COVID. I know for a fact, this isn't anecdotal. I've talked to people that seen it happen and seen it on the scene myself of people having COVID when they
Yep.
having a COVID death when they wasn't a COVID death.
Mm.
Well,
It was just a checkbox that they got
and how did that
a
go
lot
down?
of money.
There was
Oh, they get
funding.
paid for it?
Oh yeah.
There was funding going into the
yeah.
hospitals. If it was a COVID death, they got
Mhm.
some kind of hazard pay that went to the hospitals at
Gotcha.
that
Yeah.
point.
So that just absolutely skewed the numbers
Yeah.
So then
completely.
everybody died of COVID, no
Yeah.
matter what. Well, he probably
Yeah.
had COVID before he hit the wall,
Mhm.
so that was why.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So my own grandmother was one of those. She was in the nursing home, but she didn't have COVID. And my parents didn't. I mean, my mom and family didn't get to see her during her last days because of the lockdowns and everything being
That's part
scared.
of the mental
Even-
thing.
yeah, and she kept. They were testing her for it. Every time she was negative.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, but they still wouldn't let her see her. They said test negative, but we still think she's got it. No, she didn't.
It's demonic.
Well, and nobody really talks about it, but where they had their PCR test set at a certain point during this early on,
Mhm.
those PCR tests where people would go in, get their COVID test to see if they had it.
Yeah.
The numbers were so low, and I don't understand all this completely. I'm not a medical doctor. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the numbers for testing that were if you had the sniffles before you walked in there,
were
you
gonna have
had
it.
COVID.
Because they were like, it has to be.
Yeah.
There's nothing
There's nothing else
it
it could
Yeah.
be. So they had those numbers for those tests down so low that everybody had COVID,
No.
whether you had COVID or you didn't. So if she didn't even test positive on those.
Yeah.
She didn't have COVID.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's just so much misinformation involved with this, and
Mhm.
so much just
Mm-hmm.
hive mind, I want to say,
Yeah.
maybe. Just everybody just in panic. It was
Yeah.
panic porn, 100%. That's what COVID was. It was panic
It
porn,
almost like
100%.
as a humans, like as the human species, a lot of people thrive on that fear aspect.
They
That's what
do.
that's their drive.
Yeah. They enjoy it.
And when they have something to cling on to, it's like they're gonna go full bore.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Go back to listen to our last episode. Mass psychosis should
Mhm.
be coming out a week before this one.
I can't think of a better example of mass psychosis
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
At
s-
least
we
in our lifetime.
We
there's
saw
not.
people that we've known all our lives just completely flip a switch
Just fall
and
into it.
become one with everybody else.
Yeah.
And the thing is these are people that I know question a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
as far as government goes and all of that. But you throw in the emotional aspect of people are dying, people are, we're flooding the hospitals, which is false.
Mhm.
Let's back up.
Mm-hmm.
They were laying people off from hospitals hand over fist. I mean,
Yeah.
just couldn't, they were getting rid of them because they weren't filling them up. The
Mhm.
point of a hospital is to be at capacity.
Yeah.
If it's not at capacity, then they're losing money.
Mm-hmm.
So we
And
weren't filling up the hospitals. People were not going and getting their heart checked. People were not getting their cancer screenings. People were not doing all the things that needed to be done during COVID.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing on the backside of it, a lot of people dying
Yeah.
Mhm.
because they didn't go do the things to keep up with their health to begin with.
Sure.
There is not a dirtier situation that we have seen
Yeah.
in our lifetimes
Mm-hmm. Played
Then
out in
what-
front of us.
than
So
what
obviously.
we saw during COVID.
When the money got into it, that's where it got super dirty.
Dirty.
Super dirty.
Yeah.
And makes you question everything.
Yeah. I've got something anecdotal about that with the when they were paying people, like if you got fired from your job, like
Mhm.
you'd get paid.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of people. I knew somebody who like able-bodied and was making more money than I was a week,
Mhm.
staying home,
Sitting at his house.
Sure. Getting paid.
getting paid for like not even joking, like a year and a half,
Good night.
2 years. It was
Well,
crazy.
You would get it from the state,
Mm-hmm.
then you would get it from the federal government. You could double dip, and they were allowing it. So
Jeez.
people were double dipping on that,
Yeah.
which is your tax dollars at work right there of
Mhm.
able-bodied people. But on the other hand, you probably couldn't find a job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
If
'cause
you look at
nothing-
the economy pre-COVID with Donald Trump, booming.
Oh yeah, it's through the
You
roof.
were, from what I heard, you were making over $4,000 more a year
Mhm.
under COVID. There was jobs just coming out like crazy. Manufacturing was booming.
Mm-hmm.
Stock market
The
was
stock
through the
market
roof.
was through the roof. All of that was going. COVID hit, tanked.
Yeah.
In an election year.
Mhm.
In an election year.
Mhm.
Anyway, doesn't
When was
matter.
Dot.
Yeah, I think it was during
Election?
it was something that didn't really matter.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was not even a big election from what I've seen.
Didn't change anything.
It didn't change much of nothing. That's another conversation for another show. Which that's why I brought up. Guess what's coming back?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Is this
4 or 5 months
has
away?
it been 4 years since this has
I think
started?
so.
Wow.
Huh?
Hmm.
That's weird. Somehow for the last 3 years it's non-existent.
Yeah,
I don't-
midterms.
It got better. Yeah.
didn't even matter. But
Yeah, let's do it.
it's plug time.
Let's do a quick plug. We've got some merch. Went live today. I know this is releasing in a couple
This is
weeks, but
3 weeks in the future. But
Yeah.
They may be sold out by then, honestly.
probably
could
will.
be.
I kind of hope they do. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got some merch up. If that's the case, if we sell out, we're gonna get more. We've
Yep.
got some wild T-shirt ideas.
we do.
So
All about your mom.
yeah,
Not your mom.
Moms of
mom.
America.
Any moms.
Your mom.
Yeah, any moms.
It's about your mom.
So our demographics. We get breakdowns on our listeners.
Right.
Going into this, I thought we would 100% be in the 18 to 45 range. 100, like maybe 95% male.
Half of them unemployed.
Mostly, yeah, crazy wearing
Yeah,
10 hats.
Probably smell like just stink.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be our target audience.
Yep.
Dude, the moms are stepping up.
Dude,
They're
smells like
making
patchouli.
sourdough. Listen to Shrouded Reality.
Shrouded Reality's making making sourdough,
That's right.
and we're down with it. So we're gonna
Hey.
try to come up with a mom's dig Shrouded Reality
Yeah,
shirt.
your mom probably knows who we
We
are.
need a-
Just know that.
We need an apron. made.
That's right. An apron. That's fantastic. It's got Bigfoot bacon cookies on it.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna throw up some cool merch. So
Yeah.
We are definitely just thinking of that as we're talking right
Yep.
now, but it's a good idea.
This whole thing is just us rambling on,
It
honestly.
is.
Yeah, but shroudedrealities.com is where you find it. You got links to all their social media, to our all the streaming platforms.
Yep.
Everything's linked on there. And then, like I said, we got the store, so
Yeah.
check it out. Help us out. We're broke as a joke, and this stuff's
We
expensive.
We really are.
Shoot.
We ain't got sponsors yet, so it's
We're
expensive.
doing this for you and your mom.
And your mom.
And your mother. She's a nice lady.
She's a really nice
My wife got a
lady.
little nervous when I said give her the.
I told my wife about it and she laughed.
Yeah, my wife got.
She doesn't know how serious it is, though.
Yeah. Well, my wife's jealousy wheels went to turning as soon as I said,
Yeah, my
we're
wife.
going to do a mom's like shrouded reality shirt. She goes, "Kirk," and you just,
You could see it. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, baby,
When you
I'm a Toby.
if
I'm
you-
not pulling any ladies off the
If you-
show.
if you-
I promise.
if you're sleeping and you feel a presence hovering over you, it's
Yeah.
your wife.
It's your wife. Yeah.
Well, let's get back into COVID.
That's- So when did do you have a timeline of when the vaccines came out?
Is that 21?
I think it was 21. We had all been locked down for a year. They'd been dangling over our face for a period of time.
Yeah, March 2021 was when 100 million COVID vaccine doses were released.
That the
public.
government funded for free.
Which
right?
is literally 1 year after the first U.S.
It's not terrifying at all.
Yeah, I like chemicals getting pumped into my body that's been tested for less than a year.
Thankfully, the Wuhan COVID place, coronavirus
Yeah.
place, had been studying this for a really long time.
Yeah.
So I heard that.
So like 2012 is where the first case actually came
there it
from.
is. And that
600
did come
miles
from
away.
bat. That did come from
It come
bats.
from a bat.
Yep.
Now, it wasn't the same one that we have. It wasn't COVID-19.
No, this
it
one was a-
COVID-1, I guess, at that point,
Yeah,
right?
and it
or
was-
SARS-CoV-2 is what it was.
Yeah, and it was a direct. It only affected the people. It wasn't. It didn't transfer human to human.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at.
It was just the people in the cave that were around the bat poop.
And they got super sick.
Well, it wasn't even the bat. It was the bat doo-doo. It was
Yeah.
the doo-doo of the bat
Yep.
that they were in that actually gave it to them. So human to animal was not really even feasible at that
Yeah.
point. But
It caused the Wuhan Institute to start
they
studying
said,
it.
but what if it did?
Yeah.
What the crap?
Can you imagine if you're that guy
Yeah.
who started the whole thing?
There's-
I just listened to a YouTube video that was put out in Australia. Interesting enough, I don't think you'll hear this in America. That they've got the 3 names of the people
Yeah.
patient zeros that walked out of the Wuhan Institute with COVID. They've got names. They
they
narrowed it down
alive
to
still?
names. I don't know. They put their names out. I can't pronounce them. So I'm not
They
going
all,
to
look,
try.
they all look the
Yeah,
same.
probably not now. They may have been before that report came out. They're
Yeah.
probably not alive today.
But yeah, it's they didn't make our nightly news that I remember.
Yeah.
No,
So-
we've went way hush on
Yeah.
that on
Yeah.
this side. We're like, yeah, let's just let's not talk about it.
And when it comes to the testing of viruses and making vaccines for them, it's like I can understand that, like prepping for the future.
Mm-hmm.
But like they're testing like these super deadly viruses that were never made like in nature, and they're like,
Stop.
we're just doing it.
Yeah.
No one can stop us.
No.
Oopsies. There's a leak.
Did y'all ever watch? Did y'all ever watch any of the Fauci hearings and all of that was going on during the height of it?
Can I
Let's
do a
talk about-
Fauci voice?
let's talk
Can
about
you do a
Fauci.
Fauci voice.
Can I do a what?
Fauci voice.
No, I can't.
How's his voice sound?
Oh,
He's-
I can't do it.
No, that's it.
that's it.
There was a virus. I can't do it.
No,
Sounds
that's
like
good.
Beetlejuice.
I actually thought that was pretty
Sound
good.
like Beetlejuice.
Hey, the thing is
a vaccine.
if you say Anthony Fauci's name 3 times,
Yeah.
he appears with a COVID jab.
We've
that
done
he
it
did.
twice. Don't say it anymore.
Anthony Fauci. Ah! Yeah, he actually shows up with an mRNA that he shoves in your arm.
Yeah. He holds your head back like Clockwork Orange.
That's right. He hits you with it. But I don't even. Where was I going with that?
Fauci.
Fauci. Okay.
Yeah.
Fauci. During the hearings, I had something good. Dadgum.
Sorry,
it was there.
Was it the
I
science-
railroaded you.
Was it the science statement?
Well, that was a good one, but there was a whole bunch of stuff. during
Trust
that.
the science.
Yeah, he said, "I am the science," which is like
I'm Batman.
this dude had so much power at this point. He was running our
This
country.
guy was 5'5". He's like, sit down.
He had. Yeah. Did y'all see him throw that first pitch out?
Yes. like a
He
toddler.
hit first base.
Like a toddler.
It was.
Bro, like you're made for a mascot position.
See, I think his problem probably was that he got the mRNA.
Yeah.
He had like 62 boosters in his throwing arm.
Yeah.
And it just made him a touch weak. Just gave him a touch of the weakness.
Jumping off subject, but how do you not practice throwing a pitch if you're going to throw a pitch in front of the world?
This guy's from Boston, right?
Yeah,
And he's
like,
never thrown a baseball?
how do you do that?
Look,
And it happens
I
all
played
the time.
baseball. You played baseball.
Yeah.
I don't see me having a problem with hitting first base if I'm throwing home. I don't see that ever being an issue.
No.
But that being said, if they said, "Hey, Steven, come throw the first pitch out at the Mets game,"
I'm going to warm up.
guess what I'm doing?
I'm warming up.
I'm going there the day before.
Yep.
I'm probably going to wear my arm out just with how many times I go through it.
I'm
I
gonna
think
throw a
it'd be
good pitch.
perfect.
I'm not. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm not going to hit first base.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look like a...
Absolute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look
I'm
like
not-
Anthony Fauci.
I'm not going to look like Anthony Fauci throwing a bad first pitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, that really doesn't matter. He just really sucks at baseball. He was bragging.
That guy's not even human. You can't throw a baseball. You're getting.
So Anthony Fauci, though, he was around during the AIDS deal. So he was the guy that we're going to figure out and he was trying to shut people down at that point too.
He looks like the guy who created it. Honestly,
He could have been.
he's an evil scientist.
He was the monkeypox guy. He started,
Monkeypox.
which y'all saw that's making a comeback too.
Monkeypox?
They're calling him Mpox now.
That's more politically correct.
Yeah,
Sounds like
because
sounds like a type
y'all-
of beatboxing.
hey, you got to hide that mask in a different spot to get monkeypox, just so you know.
Gross.
No, the Magnum mask.
The old Magnum.
Sorry, it just came to me. I had to say it.
Yeah, that is.
Sorry, everybody.
That's only transmitted one way.
I'm
and
free.
it's,
I'm in a what's it? Free flow state, or I'm in flow state.
yeah, I got you.
So it's not mouth to mouth transmitted.
It is not mouth to
We're
mouth.
not going to say what it is.
It
We like to
could-
keep this PG-13, so
There
we're
could
not.
be a mouth involved, but
Ugh.
yeah, it's a different type of mouth. Anyway,
Monkeypox.
monkeypox. That's not what we're talking
I just
about.
like saying
but
monkeypox.
I do too. Got a case of the monkeypox.
Monkeypox.
Dadgummit.
So what if... So Fauci. Let's get back on to Fauci.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What, you read a book on Fauci, didn't you?
I hadn't finished it all the way through as per usual.
Yeah.
But I've listened to some stuff about Fauci. During the time I was listening to Steve Dace, who we've actually name dropped a few times on this show already. He was the guy that did the Nefarious movie.
Oh.
During that time frame, he was writing a book called Fauci and Bargain. I've been listening to a lot of that. So during that time frame, he goes back to Fauci's origins, a lot of where he started, and he has gained more power each time something like this has happened. So he was involved with AIDS. That was the big one for him.
Okay.
He was going to make a vaccine for that. Well, as we know, there's not a vaccine to prevent AIDS.
Mm-mm.
It never will be, I don't think. I don't think that that's something that's going to happen. Same with respiratory virus. I don't think there's never been one. There's not going to be one
Yeah.
because it mutates so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But H1N1, all of those, oh yeah, we got a vaccine for it. Ebola, when that was big, yeah, we're going to do that.
All those were Fauci.
All of those things. I think that
Interesting.
Trump's biggest mistake,
Was handing it off to him.
he handed the reins
That's
over,
right. He did.
and he at the 2 weeks to slow the spread. I think that was a reasonable thing to do at that time
Yeah.
because we didn't know what we were dealing with.
Mhm.
We were getting all of our information from China, which
Bad move.
you can't
Yeah.
trust China at all.
Yeah.
They're putting lead in the toys. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
I mean, China's not your boys.
Yeah.
So China was where we were getting all this
China.
information. China, the China virus.
China, the Wuhan flu.
That's right. But we were getting all our information from them at that point, so
Yeah.
we didn't know what we were getting into. But he said, "Hey, you take this. You're the guy. You've got a track record. You take it."
Mm.
And he went hands off
Yeah.
pretty much at that point.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he lost the election.
Yeah.
100%.
Mhm.
If he hadn't have handed that off, and if the government had let people act the way they would have acted without any of this,
Mhm.
we wouldn't have had a lockdown. We wouldn't have shut ourselves in. There was fear mongering, and it was all from the top echelon of Anthony Fauci.
Mm.
You got it straight from the source of we got to do this.
Trust
The
the
guy,
science.
the guy who lied to you from the get and said, "Don't need masks. Masks are bad.
Mhm.
Don't do it." Then, well, you might need masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get masks. You might need 2 masks. Well, we've got this vaccine and now everything's going to open up. Well, you can still get sick from that. And it was just all of it in a line. So,
and it's one of those things where, like, regardless of what you did, people were going to die. Like, that's just the game. Like, people die every day. And it's like, if this made you so scared of death, it's like you don't need a vaccine and you need Jesus at that point.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna die. Like, no matter what it is, you have a time. You have a time limit. So it's like,
if it's COVID or you get hit by a bus,
same difference.
Same difference.
Yeah.
You can't live in the panic.
Mm-mm. Yeah. So I was trying to look up a timeline. It looks like in February 2023. Is when Biden announced that the plans to end the national public health emergencies for COVID in May 2023. So he announced it in February 2023, and then in May 2023, that's
I
when
feel
it
like we
finally
were all back to normal by then, though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I
want to say 2022. We were done with it.
Yeah, but I think everything's different now. I don't see the world as the same anymore. Even though none of this exists right now, like you don't see things on the windows of businesses or anything. It's just something else. Something in my mind is just different. My reality is shifted, and it can't be the same again.
Yeah, and I think it did for a lot of people, a whole lot of people. Just to the trickle down effects of all of it. You know, we talked about the children, how it affected them, and then we had people passing away from it. So you got all the trauma with that.
Yep.
And it's just.
And the fact that you couldn't go see them, you couldn't hold a funeral, you couldn't. None of that was even accessible at that point. Yeah.
All that's bottled up in everybody now.
Yeah, it was a traumatic time, and I think that's why a lot of people don't want to talk about it. But that's why I want to talk about it, so we don't forget it.
Yeah, we were this close to a vaccine passport. I mean, they were going to be like, you can't go anywhere until we vet you and you're vaccinated and you are proven that you're not going to spread this virus.
Yeah.
They were about to put a number on your head.
What's that sound like?
I can't speak German, but that's what I'm. If you're not watching this, that's what I'm saying.
That was the worst German.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Off the cuff, German is not your thing.
Yeah.
But,
I have to zone in.
yeah, but you get it. Yeah, that way we was getting Nazi.
They were putting
world.
people in camps, and like Australia, they had
Australia
camps.
was bad. Australia was real bad for it. Like they would go put you in a house.
Yep.
Australia
by yourself.
Was bad, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
you were behind
fenced in.
You were behind a chain link fence, and people would bring and drop your food on your front porch of the place that they told you could be.
Good night.
Yeah, and some people would be there for months because the PCR was so low.
Yeah,
you couldn't pass a COVID test.
Jeez.
So at any point at all.
Now, did I hear in Minnesota that was a thing? Like there was people running around trying to keep people in their house. Like if they were sitting on the porch, they'd shoot them with paintball guns.
In Minnesota?
Like the authorities?
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
golly, shoot back.
Yeah.
Hey, your boy old Walls,
you talking about the VP candidate?
The VP candidate? Guess who ran that state at that point? Your boy.
Your boy.
So he's a solid one. He's one you want in.
Yeah, he makes...
Paintball the people.
Yeah, he won't make Nazi-ish decisions.
There's videos running around on the internet of officials walking the streets and yelling at people to get back inside of their houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. While they go probably eat at a 5-star restaurant while it's
I say, what about the hypocrisy of that? Like they lived a different life than the rest of...
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody got all the luxuries.
Nancy Pelosi was getting her hair cut. You remember that?
I do
She
remember
was
that.
going to the beauty shop and getting her hair done.
The haircut ain't gonna fix that. I'm
Well,
just saying.
yeah. But she explained it, and I don't know if y'all heard her explanation. I've got a press conference I've got to do, and I can't look bad for the people.
Okay.
For the people.
Thanks.
Come on.
While she's telling everybody else don't get her hair cut.
While she's signing $1 trillion papers in the...
She looks like a skeleton that a gypsy woman's skin has been pulled over.
Dude, gravity's really working on her right now.
Yeah, that was... Sorry, Nancy.
Man, how
Sorry, not sorry.
how much money has been laundered since this? How
Tons.
much they come out like
By
a year
who?
ago? Like all of the bills signed, all of the emergency bills for funding to like for example, like was like $250 million into a museum in DC.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you need? What do you need that for?
Is
Oh,
it-
yeah, that's right. They was passing the omnibus bills where they were just like, pass it, we'll read it later.
Yeah,
they
like
were
1,000 pages of just money. Just
Yeah.
Gone.
Gone. And it did.
yeah.
Don't ever let a crisis go to waste,
what
as
they
they
do.
say.
Like a year ago, they said like how much money in those payments to people that were unemployed? It was like 100 million was like
Yeah.
fraudulent.
Oh, really?
They're like, we don't know what happened.
That's low. That
Yeah.
actually surprised me.
It was probably
that
more than
that's-
it was probably
I
more than
about
that.
to
I'm being
say,
generous.
Yeah.
It was
That
probably more than
seems
that.
low.
yeah.
And like, who has been prosecuted? Who has gotten in trouble?
Nobody
They
will
said,
ever get
we
prosecuted
retired.
for
This
it."
is it. End of the career. And then they just. oh,
Yeah,
there you
where's
are.
Mr. Fauci? When's the
He's
last time we seen him?
chilling. He's practicing his baseball throw.
He's getting he's cashing those checks from Pfizer.
Yeah.
He's just
Oh
getting
yeah.
them Pfizer
What about
checks.
these like Pfizer? They literally dipped out.
Yeah,
The CEO of Pfizer,
Did he?
he pulled the stock out. Gone.
Seriously.
he's
gone.
gone. You remember you'd be watching the news or something like that, just trying to get the update of what the numbers were today,
Mhm.
and we hit 121 deaths a day now, or whatever it was, and then it would come up, sponsored by Pfizer, and it's like, oh my gosh,
golly.
So
much
cringy.
money.
All the celebrities that were like,
yeah.
like get out of here.
Give me
Did
the
y'all
jab.
see where they sang Imagine during all this?
Oh yeah. Oh,
that's
people
cringe.
were like, you sickos.
Yeah. Wasn't there a video of Biden getting the jab and
Yeah.
like it was
It was like
empty? Like, yeah,
It
they
was
didn't,
like a-
didn't
it's like
even
a
push
double-
the plunger.
it was like a double.
They
Yeah.
never, you could look at it and the needle's not even in his arm.
Yeah.
It's like, what the crap? They didn't take the top off of it.
That's right.
Is what it was.
And
And
they
there was a
never pressed the
bunch of
plunger.
them. There's a bunch of them like that where
Yeah.
they just never did anything with
It
it.
was just
He's,
a
he's sitting there like
sham.
a Jeff Dunham.
Probably would have killed Joe.
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, the puppet.
Yeah, the puppet. Does it look
They
like?
probably would have killed Joe Biden. No
Yeah,
joke. It
yeah.
probably would
Some
have.
people think he's already dead, but that's another topic.
Well, maybe.
COVID.
Well, y'all ready to wrap this up, fellas?
let's
We've been
get
going
after
at it. Appreciate everybody listening. If you're stuck in this long, reason we bring this stuff up, man, it's our calling to make people think.
Yeah.
If we ticked
Remember-
you off, good. Go think about it and talk about it with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't fall for this again.
Don't fall for it.
It's probably coming again.
That's
It
the most
is.
important thing.
Yeah.
Don't let it happen again.
Yeah, history that's forgotten is a history that's going to be repeated.
Absolutely.
Mic drop. Is that my mic drop?
That was
Sure.
a good one.
That was a good one. Cool. Check us out at StratedRealities.com. Bloop. StratedRealities.com where you can get our merch. Check out all our other links, and we'll catch you again next
Yeah.
week with a fun one.
Shout out to Ryan.
Oh yeah, your boy Ryan.
Yeah.
First t-shirt sale. Appreciate it, bud.
Thanks, guys.